Cool, we are live. I'm sorry that you all who might be watching this had to wait 3 minutes, but it's okay. We had to get
Excuse me.
situated. You okay there, boss? You alright?
Yeah, sorry.
Bless you, man. Bless you. Yeah, I'm sorry if I look tired. I had a pretty hard run yesterday, man. I ran only 5 miles, but I don't know why, man. It just kicked my butt. Normally, I knock out 5 miles, it's no problem. Yesterday, it just kind of
Five
kicked my
miles
butt, man.
is a pretty good run, man.
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's a good run. It's not bad. It's not a bad run, man. In fact, when I was running, I was wearing my Guardian, my Destiny T-shirt when I was running. So that was probably the problem.
Yeah, I know, holding you back.
So, yeah, I know, right? So, yeah, today we're going to talk about some Destiny. We're going to talk about, in fact, we're going to speculate on Guerrilla Games' new game, new IP called Horizon, briefly. We don't have a lot of information on the game, so we just are going to just, shoot from the cuff and pull from thin air. Um, and then also I'm going to talk about briefly, real quick, the HELLRAID walkthrough that we just posted on the site. But as always, this is Derek Smith, editor-in-chief, Gaming Insider Magazine, and we have with us the gaming guru extraordinaire, Mr. Josh Bowie. What's going on, man? How you
Not
doing?
too much, man. Not too much. Thanks for having me again. It's a
Oh,
pleasure
yes.
as always.
Oh, man, it's a lot of fun, man. So we've been speculating and talking about build up to this actual episode, man. You and I talking about
Yes.
Destiny, and more Destiny. But what I want to do before we jump into Destiny, everyone who's watching this, head over to our site, game-insider.com. Um, there's a walkthrough that we recently put up on the site. It's
Ooh.
for a game called HELLRAID. Now, are you familiar with HELLRAID, Josh?
Not more than the average person. I've seen just little bits and pieces, but I
Yeah.
haven't done much research on it.
Okay. And I myself, I'm in the same boat. But of course, recently I've done a lot of homework on the game, watching behind the scenes, watching some gameplay footage, tons of stuff. And so recently, the guys over at the development house making Hellraid, they actually had a Twitch live stream video where you can watch them go through about 25 minutes of the game.
Hmm.
And again, those watching, you can head over to the site and check it out. It's quite impressive. The first thing I noticed about it was this open world visual impression. It was being played on the Xbox One, and it looked
Nice.
incredible. It looked incredible, man. And to be honest, it was quite refreshing to see a walkthrough uh, running on the Xbox One. You know what I mean? Really, it really was. A lot of it's like the PS4 is the bully in the room now. I think.
Yeah.
Like man. So it was really refreshing to see the game running on the Xbox One. Um, Two gentlemen, one actually was commentating while the other gentleman was actually playing the game.
Hmm.
And again, we have it on the site. Uh, Basically, it's the first person view, just like Skyrim. It felt like Skyrim from watching it, but the combat was much better than Skyrim in the sense that you had more control over your main character. You could straight, left, right,
Hmm.
attack. You had multiple attacks. Very seemed like a very plentiful loot system involved with the game.
Oh, Hellraid,
Um,
Hellraid. I think I do know what you're talking about. It's like a
yeah,
first-person action RPG style, right?
yeah, dungeon.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
dungeon crawler,
I know
but
what you
yeah,
mean. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, I have seen
yeah.
a little bit of that.
Yeah, man. I watched it. I was wow. I was most intrigued by it. I'm excited about the game because it's going
Hmm.
to be launching on Steam this year. And also, like I said before, it was being played on the Xbox One, and
Okay.
so the game is actually coming to the Xbox One as well as the PS4. They're saying early 2015.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so those watching, man, check that game out. Hellraid. I mean, it's a PC-based game, but these PS4s and Xbox Ones are powerful systems, and so the game looked brilliant on the Xbox One. I mean, when he walks up and you see the draw distance, the first thing that came to mind was The Witcher 3. Okay, you
Hmm.
see some of the distances and surrounding background areas of Witcher 3, and your mouth drops. This kind of echoed that sentiment. It had that type of graphical fidelity. I'm
Okay.
not gonna say exactly on the level of Witcher 3, but yeah, definitely check that out. Head over to the site game-insider.com and check out Hellraid walkthrough. Those guys over there are putting their foot in that game. It was pretty cool. Yeah, and then at the end of the game, there was this boss battle. They mentioned that this is the first boss that you fight, and I love games with bosses. One of the things I talked about a while back, Josh,
Hmm.
was with Infamous Second Son, I wanted more boss battles that were epic, and I didn't get that. Even though the game was a solid experience, I didn't get those epic boss battles. This totally leads you up to that, and then they show you to beat the first boss battle, first boss, and yeah, the way that you take him out is quite brutal. So it was sexy. It was nice to watch.
I'm gonna do some homework on this.
HELLRAID, man.
Yeah.
Check it out on the site. It's hot, man. So
we'll do.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump off of HELLRAID, and one of the things that I want to really talk about, though, we could talk about this for 6 hours, just straight speculation, and that's the new game coming from Guerrilla Games, the makers of the Killzone franchise. It's called Horizon. Now, the game is going by the name of Horizon, correct, Josh?
Yeah, that's the code name for it right now.
The code name. So it's not been officially announced that this game is called Horizon. Okay. I like the name because when I think of Horizon, I think the word speaks for itself. So Josh, you know, you're one of the most hardcore Killzone fans that I know. You play that game, really, the series, I would say, really close to the chest. It's a dear franchise to you. When you saw the screenshots, or what's being considered the screenshots for Horizon, what's your take, man? What's your take on that? Isn't it bizarre? Like,
yeah, like they've taken such a radical idea and just, you know, they're trying to fuse this into an RPG, an open world RPG at that. Where I don't know what to think, man. Like, I'm excited, I'm giddy. I don't know how to feel. I want to see what it is, you know, because the screenshot that we saw was well, first the premise of the story, supposedly, you know, take this with a grain of salt, but the premise is that robots have evolved into dinosaurs and animals, and humans have devolved back to, you know, caveman, primitive type of existence, where we're just basically foraging for food, trying to scrap out of survival, making armor and weapons out of robot parts. So that in itself could be very interesting. And the screenshot that I saw was, it was a girl, a redheaded female, a lady, and it looked like a guy that had like a wolf cloak on his head. I couldn't get a
he had a hatchet, right?
Some sort of melee weapon. But it wasn't close enough to really tell if it was a man or a woman. But you could clearly make out the red-haired female, though, who's rumored to be the protagonist of the story. But anyway, they're fighting this Grimlock-looking creature, a metal robot, you know, a metal dinosaur or whatever, and she's shooting looks like a bow and arrow at it. And I'm so curious to see what in the world Guerrilla's got going on over there, man.
Right. I when I first saw the screenshot, I remember texting you saying, well, in fact, no, we talked we was on voice chat, and I said, Swag, I'm sitting here at a loss of words because, you know, I kind of pride myself off of having a pretty extensive imagination.
Yeah.
When I saw the screenshot, I couldn't get my bearing on it. So, you know, you see this T-Rex of sorts looking dinosaur that looks like this. He's completely a robot. It appears to be like massive destruction, like he just wreak havoc. There's another character. There's a human on his back with a.
Oh yeah.
Remember? It's a human on his back, riding him, like trying to tame him, and then his mouth is open, and if you look in his mouth where maybe his tonsil would be, it's almost like this combustion effect of this ray that he can push out, and his mouth opens in 3 ways. I'm like, what? And then the chick you're referring to, the redhead, and I'm really hoping that she is the protagonist, because, you know, my longing for Miss Noriko would probably satisfy if I get a protagonist with the red hair. She has a bow, and so the picture, the concept art that we're referring to, it's silly because what they're fighting, none of their armament can stand a chance. I mean, it's like you have a rope, you have a bow, and you have a hat.
How do you fight a robot with that?
Foolish. It seems foolish. Yeah. Right. It seems foolish. And I think what you mentioned earlier about the fact that the humans have devolved, Yet I'm going to say the world of robotics or wherever or whatever direction Guerrilla is taking with this has evolved, and so it's like this change, shifting of the powers, if you will. And you know, we posted on the site the other day someone who came forth who said they, you know, like you said, take it with a grain of salt, but they mentioned that like in the game Thief, when you have the rope arrows, or if you back to Empire Strikes Back, when you're flying and Luke kind of wrapped the rope around the big robot's legs and it kind of fell. That's kind of sort of the gameplay experience you're going to have with this. But again, I'm like you. I don't know what. Okay, the positives I get out of this is that okay, here are the positives I get out of it. From what they're saying, when I say they, rumors. Okay, from what rumors are saying, because Guerrilla is hush hush. In fact, I tweeted the game director the other day. I mean, he was so mum about it. It was like he didn't exist, and I was like, touche, my brother, absolutely. You know, you gotta, you have to stay a professional. But the idea that it's open world. We know Guerrilla Games. They make Guerrilla Games. They couldn't even accidentally make a game that doesn't look good. They just know how to make something just look beautiful, right? So I'm excited about that. Number two, it's open world, and it's RPG. Now, I'm told, and correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, the writer or writers from Fallout New Vegas are heading this up, right? The writing.
Yeah, I know the guy. I can't remember his name. That was the guy that actually penned the script for Fallout New Vegas. They hired him to help out with writing the story. I'm pretty sure he's probably going to take charge. It is.
Yeah.
With Guerrilla in their past, but you know, that he's working on a project as well now. So hopefully, you know, Guerrilla finally starts to put some pretty amazing stories with these visuals that they can come up with. You know.
Oh my God, yeah. You know, and I hope, you're right. You're right. I hope. You know, I think that leads us into our main course of the show today. You know, I hope that Guerrilla Games delivers on their vision. You know, and I think that's important. A lot of times, as developers, the development community is really in tune, or they want to be really in tune with the gamers. And what the gamer has to say about what they're doing and what they have done is very important to the developers. But when it's a new IP, and it's not a sequel of any kind, you know, gamers are kind of like out the box. So you have to kind of look at, let's say, past experiences. What were the best past experiences that kind of resemble what the direction we're going in, and what things can we take from like the best of the best games of genre and make our own, pave our own way, and how can we make it become more revolutionary or innovative. I'm hoping that that's what Guerrilla Games is looking to do with what's known right now as Horizon, because I believe they have the talent to do it. You know, I'm a big fan of the Killzone series. It's a niche shooter. It's an acquired taste for many, but if the taste buds match up, it's quite the experience. And so I hope that this, though, becomes more, not niche, but more wide open to the market.
Yeah, they explode onto the scene.
Yeah, and really acknowledges them as a developer that has to be, you know, reckoned with. Absolutely. So I'm greatly excited about that game.
Yeah.
Just like I was another game. That game is Destiny, and Destiny is a game that we were all excited about before it launched. In fact, I remember myself and a gentleman by the name of Mark Turkett. He heads up right now. He's the host of what's known as Guardian Radio. He and I created that show about a year and a half prior to the launch of Destiny. And the ambitions of the show was to get on board the next revolution from Bungie, basically. You know, Bungie's pedigree, you know, we talked about this, Josh, but Bungie's pedigree speaks for itself, man. I mean, you know, you can't discredit Bungie in no way at all based on their pedigree, you know, what they've done in the past. You know, Halo Combat Evolved was without a doubt a revolutionary shooter. And when I say revolutionary, I mean that in the sense of you never saw a first-person shooter on consoles do what Halo Combat Evolved did, from a physics standpoint, from an AI standpoint, from storytelling. You know, it was compelling. It was something that you just didn't expect. It was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
It truly was. But of course, you know, Halo 2, Halo 3, and you know all the other games came out, and so they kind of stepped away from that franchise and went into the direction of Destiny. And leading up to the launch of Destiny, and I hope I'm not wrong in saying this, leading up to the launch of Destiny, and we talked about this, Josh, the impression that we received from Bungie was one in which you were about to enter a shooter experience that was epic, vast, and broad in its scope, with a beautiful lore that's going to be compelling. Okay, that I believe is a message that was perceived from Bungie when that game was announced. You know, the concept art just spoke volumes into the idea behind what this narrative could potentially be. And when you finally get Destiny in your hands, I mean, you're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You're just like so excited to just marinate yourself into this universe. Unfortunately, when you do that, as I stated in my review, you find out that the Destiny rabbit hole is not that deep. In fact, it's quite shallow. What's your take on Destiny, Josh?
Oh man, where do I begin? For one, I hate that I bought the season pass. You know, with the bundle or whatever. Because on PlayStation 4 it was what, $89 for the Guardian edition or whatever. And I bought that, you know, and with the anticipation like everybody else that, you know, there was no way I'm not gonna like this. You know, Bungie's doing it. They've been gassing it for years. You know. Yeah. And they did hype this to be this epic universe, this story that you really wanted to get into. The way the game turned out was nowhere near the way they explained it to us. It was nothing of the sort, you know. And it's like I told you, every review score I've seen for this game, I can justify it, you know, like because you know you and I we played through the campaign together or whatever. Yes, we played through the entire story, and that was fun. But
love it.
After that, we quickly realized that there's nothing else to Destiny. You know, and Bungie had the nerve to say that the real game starts at level 20, and that's why they didn't want you know, because a lot of people weren't able to review the game until the day before or the day of when the game shipped. Sure. And what's crazy is that I saw an article. And they were saying, should we be worried about Destiny? Because most of the time, when developers won't allow you to review that game before it comes out, that's not a good sign.
Red flags, huh?
It usually doesn't work out. It usually doesn't match up when they do that. And and Bungie wouldn't allow people to review the game until the day of release, so nobody knew what they were getting into, really. You know, and then all the reviews started finally coming out. And, you know, the game's getting 7s and 6s, and I think the highest score I've seen for it has been like an 8 something. Anything over that is just kind of absurd, but it is what it is. You know, if you like it, I love it. But, but you know, and you know, with them saying that the game starts once you hit level 20, no, it doesn't. You know, I have a level 27 warlock, for instance, and once you hit 20, you have to find rare gear, legendary or exotic gear with this thing called light, and after that, light adds to your rank. That's how you go to get to level 30, is finding better gear. That wouldn't really be a problem if the loot system wasn't so bad.
So tell me something, Josh, because I'm at level 21. I have a sexy Exo Hunter that's a level 21 right now, man, and you know that's one of the concerns that I had. That became more apparent after we finished the story. Because see, when you and I jumped into the game, okay, visually, the game is gorgeous. You know, the things that you see in the distance. I remember a particular sequence where you and I, as Guardian Brethren, we were coming up the steps of the Black Garden.
Oh, yes.
And we finally came to the top, and all of a sudden, and it's the same concept art if you go back and look at some of Bungie's concept art. In the back distance, you're on Mars. There's this green, gorgeous mountain, monument-looking structure that's way in the backdrop. When you come up and you see it, you're just...
it's like a tourist attraction.
It is. It's just so compelling to just sit and stare at it. And then you and I both walk to the edge, and if memory serves me well, I believe we both sat down.
Yeah, we did.
We just sat down.
Took screenshots.
Yeah. Right. We just sat down and just started talking about how amazing it was. And then all of a sudden, and not trying to be too picky because we love what we do for a living, you know, we're insatiable about, you know, gaming. You know, we're greedy about it. We wanted to go there, but we could not. Okay. And that was the case with many set pieces within Destiny that looks gorgeous when you look out and you see areas that you can't traverse to. Don't get me wrong, Destiny has a lot of locales that are, I think they're quite sizable for the skirmishes, you know, with your Guardian fire team. So again, the game is a good-looking game. It's attractive, very attractive. But after we finished the campaign, and I'm leveling up, because when we finished the campaign, I don't know, I believe I was level maybe. I was nowhere near 20, I don't think.
Yeah, I think he was like 18, something like that.
Okay, maybe 18. And then, so we kept playing, and I'm like, oh, okay, so this is what the message truly is. This is what it's to be legend, is to basically revisit places I've already been. And again, I don't mean this in any sarcastic way. Of course, in my speaking, I'm going to be as diplomatic as I can. But the truth of the matter is, you know, we revisited those same locales that we had already traversed. You know, outside of, what was it? You have the story, you have your raids, and then you have your strikes, right?
Yep.
And then you have patrol. You can go on patrol. And patrol is something I was really excited about. But within patrol meaning you're patrolling a particular planet. But more or less, you're like a neighborhood watch guy, more than anything. You're not patrolling the planet. You're running around grabbing these little beacons that are flashing green. And to be quite honest, the more and more you play it, you're leveling up like crazy. At level 20, okay, I'm tearing through enemies. You know, the Exo was formidable when we first were introduced to them when we got on Venus. However, at level 20, 21, and then you're 27, oh my God, you're like a demigod. I mean, going through these enemies, it became a bore for me. And then, like you said earlier, I started thinking about games like Borderlands 2 and its loot system. I was thinking about games like Darksiders 2 and its loot system. And those were compelling loot systems. But this is not just a grind, but a brutal grind. What makes it brutal is if the gameplay mixture was more of a gumbo effect and not the same thing over and over, it would invite you to return more. Now, a lot of people are still playing it. I have a lot of friends personally that love it. They love it. I reviewed the game. I gave the game an 8. And I based that score. I know a lot of people, you know, when a game comes out that they're really passionate about and it doesn't receive favorable reviews, we start rationalizing why your review sucks and why the game is good. And you know, gamers are passionate. But I believe that review scores are needed because as consumers, I believe shelling out $60 for a game, personally, as a consumer, I want to know how good the game is. And another thing about the game, as we were playing it while I was kind of like putting my review together, I was reading other reviews, Josh. Okay, and because when we were playing the game together,
Mm-hmm.
I had an absolute blast because I was playing with you. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because when you play cooperatively with the game, and every step you take with the game is uncharted territory, and you're becoming more powerful, it adds to it. At the same time, I'm yearning for this powerful narrative that's going to reveal itself. What, what is the traveler? Why is it in its sedated state? What's the origin of me as an exo hunter? You as a female awoken a warlock. What's the origin of the Titan? Okay, and how are different races and species play a part in this whole scheme of
Yeah.
things? You know, when you get to the outer reef and you meet, the queen, and her brother has a chip on his shoulders, yet she has two fallen enemies as her guards. How did that come about? Okay, and why can't I play anything on the outer reef? Now, at E3 last year, myself, I sat down with Dee. She's the community director at Bungie on the game. He, myself, and Mark Turkett sat down with him, and of course I sat there and had a nice smile and listened to the interview, of course. But of course, we were speaking to both of us as Mark conducted an interview, and he painted this beautiful picture of Destiny, and I believe with real conviction of this lore that was going to be compelling, that you were going to want to stay in. Unfortunately, and I say this again, I'm sounding like a broken record, it just feels like this is going to be more of an episodic experience that they shell out to you. However, that was not portrayed in its marketing. I believed that so much more would be told in this first iteration of Destiny.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I just thought that I would get so much more. We as gamers would get so much more.
Mm-hmm.
And to be quite fair, the loot system, it's a bit broke. You think?
I think it's the worst loot system I've ever seen. Like,
Really?
I do, and that is part of the major problem with the game. Is once you first, okay, you remember I was talking about the light. You have to find gear with light in it to level up.
Yes. Yes.
And you there's no XP after level 20. You have to find gear, and finding better gear is the only way. And like they have, like you find these engrams in the game. You can find purple, which are legendaries, which you have a chance of getting an exotic, purple, rare, or just an uncommon. And the thing that sucks about those is that it could be for any class. You can get an exotic for not even your class, you know. And then there's the blue, which is rare, and you have a chance of getting a purple out of it, a blue or a green, you know. But the thing is that the legendary engrams themselves are so rare. It's like a 0.1 drop rate on them, maybe 0.2. They're extremely rare that they drop. And then whenever you get these engrams, you take them to I think the guy's Krypton is what he's called or something.
Krypton.
Yeah, Krypton. Anyway, he decodes them for you, and he gives you your gear. And that can be, you know, if it's a purple, it could be from their range I just listed or whatever. But 100% of the time, almost, they downgrade to something you don't need or something you can't use. Like I had a buddy the other day had 11 purple engrams, 11 legendaries, all of them downgraded. He didn't get a single legendary item out of any of that. So he's stuck at 25 and can't go past that because he just can't get loot. Like the game just, you know, and it's like,
yeah,
it feels like you're smashing against this brick wall with some of these bosses for nothing. There's absolutely no reward in the game at all. And when you're doing the same strikes over and over and over again, and you're not getting anything for doing it, the game gets very boring. Like, it doesn't get, in my opinion, you know, it doesn't get better after you hit level 20. That's when the game is at its worst, because it just turns into a grind that just lets you down over and over again, you know. And the way they do which another system that just doesn't make any sense to me. You know, you have the vanguards or whatever.
Sure.
Where you have to grind that out and level up, and you can just buy legendary weapons, which is a horrible idea because what that does, that devalues a legendary item in the game. It just becomes something common. You just grind your butt off until you get it, you know, and then you just go buy it until you get enough what they call Vanguard marks, Crucible marks, and you go buy it. That takes away the value of the weapon, in my opinion. You know, for instance, a system like Borderlands, where you find a legendary weapon, you feel extremely proud of that because everybody don't have that weapon, and you can't go buy it. You have to go earn that. You know what I mean? And for instance, like Borderlands, you fight a boss, 95% of the time, he's gonna drop something for you. You know, something better than what you have. It's just this constant feeling of progression in Borderlands, and Destiny doesn't have that. You just keep slamming into a wall. And like they were talking about the raids are out, and like the vault of glass on Venus or whatever. Currently, my clan is raiding that. Part of them have finished it, and I got one in another group that's on the final boss, and they haven't gotten anything. Like one of the leaders told me the other night, he was like, "You hadn't missed nothing." He was like, "I've went through this entire thing and hadn't got anything." And they were talking about raid. Bungie was talking about you're gonna get raid gear and all of this. The loot system is a mess. It's atrocious. It's the worst loot system I've ever seen. If the loot system was better, the end game wouldn't be so bad. You know, the grind wouldn't be so harsh because you get rewarded. You know, now you just, you know, and then like for instance, they put in like daily nightfalls where they'll have like a story mission that you'll do, but it's extremely difficult, and they'll add stuff in like arc burn, where any enemy with an electric weapon does 300% more damage to you, and it's so hard. It'll take you an hour and a half to finish it, but you don't get any reward for doing it.
See, listening to what you're saying about the game is interesting to me because I'm thinking about a lot of the things that could have been implemented in Destiny to complement what you're saying. For example, okay, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with a game being that challenging, that brutally, like, wow, you know, head scratching, if there are exceptions, such as you mentioned side missions, and I'm a big side mission guy. I can come up with some crazy side missions off the top of my head. But I was thinking about the fact that, like you said with Borderlands, if it was the possibility of, okay, becoming legend, as we know, with Destiny, is all about just grinding out, and hopefully a miracle happens and you receive the item that you need. That's basically becoming a legend.
Exactly.
But I believe that that the word legendary should have been defined by doing something that really matters within the scheme of the world, within the universe of Destiny. Because when you paint the picture that, like when the game comes on, it talks about this golden age. It talks about this deity that no longer is what it used to be. Man is no longer what he used to be.
Yeah.
And now he's resorted back to Earth. So you would assume that naturally, you know, these species, man, awoken, when I say man, I mean human, awoken, exos, are now yearning to get back to that golden age, and not just be in a mode of protection, if you will. But it doesn't even seem as though the Guardians themselves are protecting anything.
Nope.
No one ever seems in need of protection. It seems like the Guardians said to hell with the Traveler and everybody else, and I'm about to go out here and just patrol other planets that don't seem to be bothering Earth at all. But I'm going to just go ahead and just try to level up and be great.
Yeah, but the thing is, you don't even know why you're a Guardian.
But you're right. The purpose, and see, that's the narrative problem. There's no purpose in that. And going back to like balancing the experience, sure, when you're doing raids and they're hard, and you're level 27 right now, and you're just trying to get to level 28, and those things are difficult. Well, it'll be more complementary to the gameplay experience if there was a side mission that, let's say, you had to do alone, or you with your fire team had to do. That fire team had to get a certain level to go out to a distant planet and not just fight bad guys, but you had to fight bad guys to save a colony of Awoken. Okay, you had to go and go behind enemy lines to retrieve something that the traveler actually needed to be restored, but it only scratches the surface of that because this is a 10-year plan that we've been told by Bungie. I mean, I'm thinking about the side missions that were in the game, like Red Dead Redemption. Okay, side missions that were meaningful. So doing those side missions, if I traversed further enough on Mars where you didn't necessarily go, I was able to face off against something that just seemed beyond formidable. Yet, when I defeated it myself, I received something that was legendary. See, if I go and if I face off with six guardians, how legendary is that? But if you go by yourself, like a David Goliath type of situation, that's legendary. It's like, wow. And then another thing that was interesting was how when you're at the tower, one of the things that I did was I walk around the tower a lot and I look at the characters. What's unfortunate about that is I remember when they were talking about how when you get to the tower, or the marketplace they called it, you would see other guardians that would make you be envious of what they are adorning on their person. Like, oh wow, you know. And so, and the only thing that makes me envy anybody is the number on top of their head. If I'm a level 5 and you're level 26, I'm like, dude, I want that number. But there's nothing on your person that stands out so significant because why? I know how you acquired that. Yeah. You luckily stumbled upon that level whatever. It's not what you're wearing, it's your number.
Yeah, and they were
yeah. Now, go ahead, please.
They were saying that you were going to see people be like, how'd you get that?
You remember that?
Get this? Yeah, where'd you go to get that? He got lucky is how he got it. There's no guaranteed way to get anything in the game. It's just it really comes down to like the people that are like level 30 now and higher. Well, not higher, but you know, I'll say 27 and higher. It's all luck. It comes down to how lucky you are. If you're lucky and you're getting
how long you play and how lucky you are. Sure.
Well, the thing is, it really doesn't matter how much time you put into it. It's just luck. Yeah. Like you go through a raid and get a drop, and the drop doesn't downgrade on you. You retain your legendary status on it. You know, that's what the game comes down to, just getting lucky. It's incredible how they, you know, I don't mind very, very punishing bosses because I'm a Souls fan. I'm a Dark Souls fan, and Demon Souls, so I love difficult games. You know, matter of fact, I want it to be challenging. I just hate beating my head against a wall and then there's no reward for it. You know what I mean? I feel like I wasted an hour and a half of my time trying to kill this dude for nothing. Right. You know, and that's the problem.
Well, you know, not to change gears too much, but you know, one of the things that you know when I'm contemplating what game I'm going to play when I have some free time, what makes me play Destiny, however, is Bungie knows how to make you smile when you pull the trigger. I'm just gonna say that they do. You know, they just know how to make you smile when you pull the trigger. One thing too that I was expecting with Destiny, I expected a really robust AI, and like going back to Halo, when you fight on legendary status, certain enemy types in Halo, I mean, you have to be with your friends, you know, with other Spartans because, oh my God, I mean, the way that they're moving out of the way of your fire, calling in assistance, it's like, dude, this is multiplayer. I mean, the AI can be quite competitive in Halo. In this, that's not there. Seriously, it was like what made, like, if you're fighting a boss that's not a boss, but an enemy type that's a higher level, his higher level has nothing to do with his intelligence. It has everything to do with he can absorb more bullets.
He's just a bullet sponge. Yep.
He's a bullet sponge. Yeah. And so like for example, Cabal. When we first faced off with them, that was like probably one of the most climactic moments for me in playing the game. When those doors opened And Marty O'Donnell, man, I just got to give you a high five. Man, that music kicks in, and that rush. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. I'm like, oh my God, I'm just taking guys out. And you was just destroying people. It was amazing. Super, you dropping Nova bombs, and I got this amazing hand cannon, and everything was amazing. However, as you keep playing and you face them again, you're like, hey, buddy, you don't have a roll maneuver. They just were like, it was just so easy to kill a Cabal. It just was so easy. When we faced off against the Exo, that was a bit frightening in a sense because they could teleport out the way, and I'm like, oh wow, this is going to be interesting. So we had to be more. Our maneuverability had to kick in. I'm jumping all over the place, and you're floating like a god trying to drop Nova bombs and all that. That was great. And unfortunately, it just becomes so short-lived. It does.
Yep. It's real unfortunate because, man, when the way they explained the game, they had me thinking Mass Effect and Borderlands had a baby.
And Halo.
Yeah, and Halo. That's what I was expecting. That's what I was expecting when I went into it. And
I agree. Yeah.
And to the people that's saying, well, it's not. Why would you buy a first-person shooter for a story anyway? That's completely ridiculous.
That's a ridiculous statement.
Anybody who says that needs to go play Wolfenstein. Anyway, that's what Bungie hyped the game as. They said, that it was going to have this lore, the story, or whatever, and they've said repeatedly it's not an MMO, but people keep wanting to call it that. And Bungie themselves have said it's not an MMO.
Okay, so hold on. Let's put that thought right now. Okay, Bungie said, we know that they said this is not an MMO. Okay, it's not an MMO. I'm going to say that what they're calling a campaign is heresy. Okay, that's not a campaign. All right, it's not, man. I mean, it's not. I love Bungie. Bungie, I know a few people at Bungie. They know I respect them with the utmost. However, that's not a campaign. It's okay. No. They can call it a campaign all they want. It's not. Now, if that's not a campaign, if this game is not an MMO, then, in your opinion, Josh, what is Destiny? And try to be diplomatic about it. Don't make them bleed too much. But what is Destiny? What is it?
I think Destiny is too many ideas that they did not have time to gel into one. That's what I think. I think that I can see where they're wanting to go with this, but it's almost like they didn't have time. Like, there's not one system in the game that's like fully fleshed out. Like, they didn't really take the time to do that, and it's, I don't. The things that they're trying to do, I can name 3 or 4 games that'll do it better. Like if you just want to talk about the single player or the story or whatever you want to call that, Borderlands wipes the floor with it in every aspect. In the PvP, Bungie should be applauded for this feat that they have accomplished. I have never in my life seen, let alone played, a multiplayer this unbalanced. And
you're referring to the Crucible.
Yeah, the Crucible, the PvP, and this is surprising coming from Bungie. Bungie started this first-person shooter thing, and to see this is what they gave us, for it to be, I don't know what they were going for in the Crucible. And the crazy thing is that when we played the beta and the alpha, playing the PvP, looking at some of the abilities, we were like, wow, that is crazy. I hope it didn't get any worse.
I remember. I'm sorry to cut you off real quick. I remember, and don't get mad at me for saying this, Josh. Okay, don't bust me up, man. But I remember you telling me, and I was like, Josh, I don't know. You said, dude, this multiplayer right now is probably one of the best. And it was during that time where it was fresh, it was new. You know what I mean? And you really couldn't see all of the
flaws,
imbalances, OP characters. I mean, oh my God.
See, you were right. You were right. I did say that because at the time we could only go to level, I think 8.
Level 8. Yeah, 8. Level 8. That's right. You're right. That's right. Level 8. That's it.
And, so whole class tree wasn't unlocked yet. You know, you only had, if the game only had the supers that they gave us in the beta, I wouldn't really have that much of a problem with it. But
the game, wow, they got you had like Superman supers. It's crazy.
When you go further into that tree, like for instance, the Blade Dancer, that is the most OP-ness I have ever seen in my life. This guy,
it looks sexy, but it is crazy.
It does look sexy, but it don't when you're on the other team. That's for sure. People just start running from him. Like the whole team has to focus fire on this one dude because he's just like a god. Like what he does is he infuses his blades with electricity, or arc damage is what they call it in the game, and he just becomes this whirling dervish of melees, and everything is a one-hit kill. And he gets a passive skill of a health regen and somewhat of a shield buff. Like, I've seen them coming at me, and I just start walking backwards, waiting on them, and put 40 in them, and they're still coming.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. And whenever he melees you, he regains instant full health. And they have the ability to cloak. You know, it's just...
Oh, Lord.
The game should be called Hunters Online, is what the multiplayer should be called. Because it's like everybody is running hunters. It's so unbalanced. It's nuts. I have never in my life seen anything like this before. And I felt that sometimes the Call of Duty can get a little crazy with the gadgets that they give you, but this is ridiculous. And what's crazy is that was one of my biggest fears, is that this was going to be this way because it's Bungie. Halo was always felt kind of gimmicky to me, is why I kind of stayed away from it. You know what I mean? And with shields and overshields and all the craziness that comes with Halo. And this is no different. But this multiplayer is not on the level of Halo.
No.
There's no way. And I'm telling you, if they don't fix it, when Call of Duty comes out, Bungie's gonna lose so many players that it's not even funny.
You think so? That's a good topic. You think so?
I do. This game is nowhere near on the level as even Battlefield 4 in its broken state is a better multiplayer than Destiny. Call of Duty, especially the new one, is going to be a better multiplayer than Destiny. This multiplayer is terribly unbalanced right now. It's a mess. And this is popular opinion. You know what I mean? Like, this is not just me letting off steam about the multiplayer. I don't know anybody that thinks it's balanced. You know, it's a mess. I don't know how they saw this and felt like, or maybe that's what they wanted. You know, who knows?
Let me ask you this, Josh. Is Destiny the biggest or most underwhelming game you've ever played?
Destiny is the biggest disappointment I've ever had in gaming and the most underwhelming game I have ever played. I've never played a game that was this hyped and had 500 million backing them, and it doesn't seem like it comes from a studio like Bungie. You know what I mean? It's almost like Naughty Dog putting out a half-ass game. Excuse my French there. You know what I mean? You would just be so shocked by that, you know? If they put something out that was a disjointed mess at times, you know, you would be baffled like, Naughty Dog, what are you doing? You know?
There's a lot of truth in what you're saying. Coming from me personally, we take to heart these games, especially from studios that, you know, we pride ourselves off of being entertained by and following. And, you know, from a business standpoint, of course, you know, we work with them and make sure that we can support and leverage their properties with professional care. But at the same time, you know, when the product hits the ground and it's running, of course, Game Insider, our loyalty at the end of the day is to the readers, to our readers. And so, you know, but we're still gamers. And so I found myself scratching my head as well in regards to what you just said. I was like, wow, like, really, Bungie? Because when I think back at the way the game was positioned, Sony was very smart in leveraging the game to almost appear as though it was a PlayStation exclusive, which for them has benefited them greatly, especially in the UK where they've sold I think it was 300% their PS4 themselves. So on the sales standpoint, you know, Sony's doing good, Bungie and Activision doing well as well. But well, however, it's a bit puzzling, however, to think about the final product and where it comes from, because you just expect Destiny to be more. And I'm not saying that because of the hype, we all expected it to be beyond our imagination. No, 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 no. In my honest opinion, a game that meets the standard of hype is a good game. What I mean is, if the game is a good game, it meets the hype. When you look at the review scores, okay, I wrote my review. We published a review. I gave the game an 8. Some people consider that to be too high. I looked at the game from all aspects. Sure, was I critical? Well, yeah, because I think the critical angle comes from the fact that I'm going to influence you to or to not pay $60 for the game. So I want to make sure that I paint the right picture, the honest picture of what the game is. So yeah, I'm looking at the game critically, but I'm also looking at the game from a wonderful standpoint of how did it truly make me feel? What was there for it? And right now, today, at a level 21 with one of my guardians, I'm hard pressed to want to jump back in and play it. There's nothing there at the moment that says, Derek, come and play me for fun, have a good time. I've done basically everything that warrants fun with Destiny, and a lot of the glaring holes kind of are just really
right there.
Loud. Yeah, they're loud. And so again, it's all about being fun. It's all about being fun. Like, do I want to go back and play it? Well, sure, there's times I want to go back and play it. However, one thing is interesting about that. The only time I really want to go back and play it is if I'm playing with someone else. And that's a bit short-lived as well. Playing by myself, that's the situation. Most games that are really good, that meet whatever hype that the hype train that they're riding on, I can go on and play it by myself. It doesn't matter, And like months later, weeks later, Destiny just came out, and there's no reason why we should be having this conversation with this type of an angle that we're going in, saying that Destiny's a game that's difficult for us to jump into. For many people, Destiny's hard to put down, and I'm glad about it. It's hard to put down for me.
Let me ask you this though: is that a product of there not being a lot out to play right now? Like, if everything that was supposed to come out this year came out this year, like, for instance, Batman, The Witcher, what was it? Evolve got pushed back. I don't really know how well Dying Light would have done, but but if these games were all here, I don't think Destiny. Well, it would have sold the same amount still because of the hype. Yeah. This game sold a couple million solely off of hype, but I'm telling you, I think in a multitude.
To think about, no, bringing in those games that you're talking about, from attrition reasons, yes, sure, you would have more of a split market of gamers playing other games because of this. But I believe that when I don't care what game was going to come out this year that got pushed back. The hype train of Destiny was a hurricane. So when that game dropped September 9th, people were going to be buying the game like they did September 9th this year. Today, I still believe that a lot of those people that are playing the game today will be playing it, but I believe that many of them wouldn't be. They will be playing something else based on the games that got pushed back. Sure. I personally wish the best for Destiny. One thing that I'm saddened about is the fact that, in my opinion, Destiny didn't even scratch the surface of its hype. And see, that's one of my concerns. See, it's one thing to say, well, it was never going to meet that hype. Wait. No. Hold on, stop. When you have this many reviews, okay, across the board, no one's... Okay, listen. Sony didn't pay me, nor did Sony pay the owner of Game Insider Magazine or the executive editor of Game Insider Magazine, and then them tell me, give me a message and say, Derek, you better get this game an 8 because they're gonna help us out here. No, that's crazy. You know, I've read some just insane points in forums, whatever, and maybe some of the larger, more conglomerate media sites, gaming wise, you know, have some practices that aren't that righteous, I would say.
Yeah, we get it.
But at the same time, when you read these reviews, I mean, okay, I saw a review the other day and it was a 4.5 out of 10. Stop. Okay, that's ridiculous. That's stupid. There's a 4.5 game is a game that you hit the power button, it doesn't even come on. I mean, that's just insulting. Okay, it's cool. I mean, it's blasphemy. I'm like, come on, you really wrote a review to put a 4.5 on Destiny? Stop. Just if the game was awful, the visuals alone gives it a 5. I mean, really? So, you know, when I saw a lot of the 6s, I was like, whoa. You know, and then of course I didn't agree with a lot of certain statements. I mean, Polygon put out a statement in their review.
See, I thought the 6s were justifiable.
Okay, hold on. Okay, Polygon said. Polygon said, I like Brian over at Polygon. He's a good guy. Polygon's review. One of the quotes, just like, I'm like, really? Huh? Said the boss battles were too long.
Too what?
Too long.
I can see that.
Battles, really? Okay.
Well,
I'm so against that statement. I'm like, what are you talking? Dude, okay, hold on. Just going back to our experience with the game, Josh. We've had some long, arduous boss battles with the game.
Yeah.
And the feeling of satisfaction when we finished them, come on. It was just like...
That's true, but what I can agree with that, because when you get to the later game content and you do, you know, like the strikes and stuff like that, right. And once you get into the higher level stuff, the bosses become such massive bullet sponges that you literally can sit there for an hour and a half shooting at the same dude until he dies. Okay. You know, so he might have been talking about in-game stuff. Obviously, you know, the lower level stuff is not that bad, but boy, some of those strikes I've been on, it is literally taking us like an hour and a half to kill one dude, just unloading on this one dude for an hour, you know.
And I think too, kind of piggybacking off what you're saying, after that long experience, to walk away with nothing can be insulting, right? That's probably where you came from on Polygon?
That makes you want to turn the game off, to be honest. Okay. It makes you, that right there, and, you know, speaking like with the rest of my clan members and some friends,
sure, that
makes you not even want to play, because it's like, the whole point of, you know, like for instance, what's the game I can think of? Like Borderlands, I can think of the Darksiders 2, when you finally take down that boss.
Oh, man.
And you see that, like, Borderlands was the best at it. You finally take down that boss and you get that loot explosion, just going everywhere. You know, you just run around like, ooh, I want that, ooh, I want that, ooh, I want that. Yeah. You know, it's just, ooh, piece of candy, you know, and it's like, you just don't get that with Destiny. You kill the boss and you're like, great, it's over. You know, back to the loading screen. You know, and it's every boss. Same thing. Oh, back to the loading screen. Oh, you know, and the bosses drop nothing. Like, how can you make somebody fight a boss for an hour, or maybe 45 minutes fighting one person, and you give them nothing for that? You know, you just don't feel like you're progressing anymore.
Yeah, it seems you have a problem with Destiny and they're not giving you what you want.
It's not necessarily what I want. It's just that, you know, I've been in and hear other people's complaints. It's just, who wants to just go fight a boss for an hour and a half for nothing? I'm not getting. See, the thing is, I'm not getting any XP for it either. So I'm basically just wasting my time. I'm not getting anything out of this. I'm not getting XP. I'm not getting any new weapons or any new armor. I'm getting nothing. You know, any other game I've ever played where there's boss battles, you are gaining something from killing that boss. You're not doing it for no reason. You know, there's always something there, you know, to make you want to do it. This game makes you want to do it because there's nothing else to do, you know, but just go kill that boss, you know, to be disappointed by no loot, you know, so.
Well, let me ask you this. That's a game developed by Bungie. if Destiny was not developed by Bungie, of course we understand that it wouldn't be receiving this type of fanfare. It wouldn't have received this type of explosive reception. Um, if Destiny was made by some other developer, all right, and that some other developer is not a big name brand like Bungie, you know, and Destiny is the exact game that it is today. Okay, watch this. So Destiny is made by Joe Schmo Studio.
Yeah.
Okay, that Activision still publishes. Okay, um, and okay, let me try to from thin air just pull a developer in that to see. I don't want to hurt, step on no toes. Let's say that Cold Masters, they make great racing games. Okay, let's say Cold Masters made Destiny. Okay, I'm just that's
Yeah.
they don't make shooters, but let's say Cold Masters made Destiny, and it was the equivalent experience of what Destiny is that Bungie made that we have today. Okay, I think that the users that are playing the game, they would have abandoned it long before now, based on the reviews that are out there, because Cold Masters made it, and a lot of them wouldn't even bought the game and would have resorted to, oh wow, it's a 73 average on Metacritic. I'm not buying that game. That's whack. And we wouldn't even have this debate on whether it's good or not, or is
No,
it.
we wouldn't, because if it was made by, a small company, it would have never, gathered the hype that it did.
Right.
So a lot of people probably wouldn't even know about it, so it wouldn't have been such a massive letdown like it was. Like, Destiny has been hyped as the messiah of the next generation gaming, and if it had been another game company, it would have never got to that level of hype. So your disappointment wouldn't have been as heavy. Yeah, you wouldn't have been that sad about it not being what you expected it to be. So I mean, I think the review scores would have still been the same, because the game still would be the same game. Yeah, but it wouldn't have been such a big deal the way it is now, because it's Bungie saying we're creating this new universe and blah 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 blah, and this is a 10-year plan. We got 500 million backing it. Who wouldn't get excited about that? These guys are like the king of first-person shooters. They started all of this stuff, all of this Call of Duty stuff, all of that. Halo started all that whole shebang with online play for first-person shooters on console. Exactly, consoles. And for these guys to have been hyping this game the way they have, we all know the amount of money that they have at their disposal, and for it to just fall short, way short, it's a massive, massive letdown, man.
So looking into the future of Destiny, I remember that Bungie stating that the game is going to be like a 10-year ride.
Yeah, it's gonna be like 3 or 4 more Destinies or something like that.
Right. So the game sold very well already. It's been like out of control with the sales. People are still playing it like crazy, but reviews have kind of like
hammered it.
It's hammered it. And then you have a lot of people that when you go and read review comments, they echo the review. They're like, "Yeah, man, I took the game back." You see a lot of people that are trying to be nice and say, "Listen, I'm sorry, guys, but the game is just not that good." Or, I had fun with it for the first 3 hours, and then, so you see, a lot of people that are agreeing with the reviews. If there's yes, there's going to be a Destiny 2, whatever they call it. Will it do these numbers again?
No. Destiny will never do these numbers again, because, like we were just saying, they made 300 million in 5 days or something like that.
350 or yeah.
Uh-huh. Activision and Bungie, they made their money. Sony made out like a bandit too. Kudos on them for getting on board with this whole thing. But the people that are hurt the most by this is going to be us being the consumers. We spend our money on it, and some of us are not happy about it. And Bungie, because Bungie's, they got paid, but boy, is their reputation going to take a hit for this. And the next, the next Destiny is not gonna sell like this. It's no way, because they right now, from what looking at the temperature of the gaming community, it seems like it's split right down the middle. You either love Destiny or you hate it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's kind of really in between with people, and people are like, well, I'm just playing it because there's not a whole lot else to play. I'm tired of Battlefield or whatever, so I'm playing this. And when I'm just from what I've been hearing a lot is I'm waiting on such and such game. I'm waiting on this. When this comes out, then I'm gonna jump on that, and no harm, no foul. But I don't think Destiny will ever move the type of numbers they did this time, because it was so hyped. Is why so many people ran out and bought it. Like the live action commercial you did. You see that?
That was
Who
amazing.
don't want to go buy that game?
Yes,
if that's a movie, you're going to get in line that same day.
Yes.
The marketing team needs a raise, because they just made Activision Bungie a boatload of money in the art team. But they won't get that again. They won't have this thing again. They've disappointed way too many people with this title. Bungie's got a lot of work to do. And from what I've been hearing is that this Queen's DLC or whatever it's going to be, update, it's not really going to be anything different. You're going to have, like the little quest that we have now or whatever.
Yes.
I forgot what the patrols is what they call them. You're going to have that, and you're going to have, I think, a couple missions where you do. Because you remember in the thing where she says, you owe me a favor or whatever.
Exactly. Yes. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, you're basically going to be paying the favor back. But the way Destiny has been going, I'm not expecting a lot out of it, because she's just going to tell you. What's probably going to happen is, this is my prediction, is she's going to tell you, go here, do this, and you're going to go there and watch Peter Dinklage try and hack something while he set off every alarm in the place, and waves and waves of enemies are going to come at you. And you're going to defend him while he does it. And then it's just going to end, and you're going to go back to orbit. You're not going to know why you did it, what you did it for, and you're just going to be sitting
so amazing, because that's the experience. That's exactly the experience.
Yep,
that's it.
That's every single mission.
Unlock something, and you just, he unlocks it. It's like, Peter, you done yet, boss?
Yep.
Help me out, man. Yeah, that's it.
Nope, there's more coming. You just protect him while he unlocks stuff, and he's terrible at hacking because he's constantly setting off alarms. So
I thoroughly enjoyed Peter Dinklage's voiceover in there.
I did too. I don't think he's as bad as people were saying.
No.
I didn't think he clearly was not the weak link of the game at all.
No, he was
I don't know. I think people just got so used to Cortana.
Cortana,
she's very hard to talk.
Cortana, I mean, she's been doing it forever,
Yeah, exactly, and had it replaced with Peter Dinklage,
But see, I'm gonna tell you, what made Cortana so, great was the fact that she was rolling with your boy John. I mean, so you're rolling with your man Master Chief, so, and the game was great, so it made her great. She was almost like that role player that, she was the AC Green. She went to championship, she got a ring too. So, if Destiny offered those side missions we wanted, if it offered the simplicities of life, like proximity change, if it offered a balanced crucible, if it offered meaningful quests where you could go out and venture alone, and it felt like you really were away from the tower. And also, too, if it offered an experience where there was a sense of urgency in getting back to the tower. To get back to the tower, I just go into orbit. But what about if I'm overran? And
you got to try to escape.
And I have to try to escape, and I'm like, oh my God, I have to get back to the tower, but I'm 25 miles out, and I have to get on my Sparrow, and I have to race back, but my Sparrow is too slow because they have vehicular, they have vehicles, excuse me, that can outrun my Sparrow, and so I have to stay there and fight. I mean, the sky's the limit with the possibilities of what Destiny could have been.
Space flight could have been amazing too.
So it's like with those experiences, if it would have been a great game, Peter Dinklage could have been Cortana's great, sure, but as massive as this experience could have been, Peter Dinklage could have replaced her, and you could have moved on with no problem. I loved him as the Ghost.
I just do. I don't think it's bad at all. But imagine Destiny being blended with something like No Man's Sky, where you take off out of the tower.
There you go.
You fly through the atmosphere to Venus.
You land
somewhere and do whatever you got to do. Get in your ship and go back. That is the type of experience that I want.
And you bring up another point too, that I don't want to, the horse is dead. I don't want to kick him. But when you left the tower and you was in orbit, and then you choose the destination, if you took a patrol, if you went to patrol, let's say any map, and the patrol was located at the northeast end of the map, or you said, okay, I don't want to patrol, and you want to go and do a story that was on the southwest side of the map, or wherever. No matter where you went, it was the same exact location. And I'm like, what is that? Like, it just, it was, and I couldn't. The idea of, I'll just get over it, it's a good shooter. No.
Mechanics will only carry you so far.
Sure, exactly.
God of War Ascensions, I'm looking at you.
Exactly. So, that's our take on Destiny. I mean, I think Destiny, for what it's worth, is a decent game. It's decent. It's a decent game. It has pockets of fun, pockets of great fun. And then it has some areas where you're like, well, I did spend $60 on this, but I'm not playing it. So depending on who you are, Destiny, you may like it, you may not like it. But I just hope that Bungie, what's the word? I hope that Bungie can come back and not justify that experience, but prove to us that they are who we thought they were. You know what I mean?
No, you didn't.
Bungie's reputation has been hit by this.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, it just has. And but everyone sometimes doesn't make something that's just like, oh my God, blows your mind. But Destiny sometimes has, Destiny as you're playing it has a way of being so much less than what you wanted that you question Bungie, right? But we're not gonna go there. We're not gonna question Bungie. We love Bungie. We know Bungie is incredibly talented.
They got a lot of stuff in the pipeline for the game, so I mean.
They do.
It's a few tweaks away.
Okay, yeah, but at the same time, watch this. You said something earlier that I have to agree with, based on this next point I'm gonna make, and that is this: when games like Shadow of Mordor, and games like Alien Isolation, and games like Drive Club, Far Cry 4, Assassin's Creed, Unity, Call of Duty, Advanced Warfare, Sunset Overdrive, Forza Horizon 2, and then you go into next year and you got the Order 1886, you got Bloodborne, you got all these amazing games going to be coming out. You got Battlefield Hardline, and that's a popular series. Are you really going to be interested in a game that you've already put 50 hours into and this DLC, aside from these other games that are going to be, scratching at your attention?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So I think, it's good that for Bungie's sake and Activision that they profited, and that's cool. But at the same time, however ambitious Bungie's end game is, as far as their post-launch meals, DLCs for the game, I really hope they're compelling. I really do. I hope they're like, oh my God. When we play the new upcoming DLC where you have to go into the favor of this queen, I'm hoping that when we play that, we come back to this show and we're like, dude, like, that was amazing. Like, that was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I want to come back on the show and say that. But unfortunately, I'm afraid that Peter Dinklage might be getting the lion's share of that experience as he's unlocking whatever door as I'm trying to take out the.
You did that every single mission of the game.
Yes, you did. So, for those who haven't bought Destiny yet, if you're thinking, Derek, should I buy Destiny? If you want to play a shooter with your friends cooperatively and have a great time because you're longing to play a cooperative shooter that's new and fresh, I want to say buy Destiny. Absolutely. However, if you're looking for a shooter that offers you an amazing narrative story that's in depth, that explains enough of its detail that allows you to buy into its experience, and you don't want the unfortunate grind of doing the same thing over and over and over again at the same locales, I'm going to say you might want to pass on Destiny. And I never thought, my God, if I was asked this question a year ago, I would like swallow my tongue. Like I would never say something like that. But
of course
hey,
not.
the proof is in the pudding. It is, you know. And so no one's trying to pick on Destiny at all. We love Bungie. We respect them a great deal. The game just is not what we thought it could be.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about it living up to the hype. It just it didn't deliver. But of course, many of my personal friends who are watching this, I'm pretty sure my email is blowing up saying I'm an idiot because they love Destiny, and that's good. That's good. I'm glad they like it. I'm glad they're having a great time with it. I did give it an 8 review, and I believe it deserves an 8. I believe anything else less than that, it could be probably justifiable in a lot of regards. But that's my take on it. That's my take, man. So, on to a more positive note, Guerrilla Games Horizon, man. I'm just excited about that game, and I don't want to go into it, but man,
I can't wait to see more. I can't wait to see more.
Yeah, I can't wait to see more of that. I'm excited about that game, man. I wonder what they're gonna. I mean, just what is it? Just what? There's so many things to talk about. But what is Horizon? Like what? So we'll see. We'll see. Have a lot of games coming up. In fact, I made a list here of new games that's on the way. Games that we'll be both playing. In fact, I am going to dive back into Grand Theft Auto 5 on.
No, I will be there with you. But you know, that's actually just not a remaster. Apparently, Rockstar's added new things to do in that. You know, there's there's new side missions. There's new stuff you can just roam around the world and get into. You know, they've added new things to it.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting. I'm excited about it.
I am too.
I'm excited about that. I would say, wow, what's my most coveted game? Of course, Destiny's was my most coveted game pre-launch, and so now what do I replace that with? And there's a lot of games that I want to play. What's up, Swag? What you about to say?
I was just about to say Destiny actually wasn't my most looked forward to game this year.
Really?
Like, mine was The Witcher 3. And The Witcher got pushed
you told
back.
Me that. Yeah, they did you
The Witcher is one of my favorite games. So if them boys say they need more time,
make it right.
All time you need.
No doubt. Sure. Okay, so let me ask you, Swag, before I go into this list. Well, this list here is basically all of the, I would say, top games. There are some indie games that I didn't put in here that are pretty sexy. Like the Xbox One exclusive called Ori and the Blind Forest.
I will be playing that.
That looks so awesome. I'm excited about
that. Yes,
it does. I would say my most anticipated right now, Dan, for the rest of the year, it's going to be 3 of them. I have 3. That's not really.
You can only have one. You can only have one.
These games are horrible, man. I mean, like, dude, they're so amazing. Okay, here we go. The 3 I'm looking at, I can only have one. I can only have one. The 3 I'm looking at is Far Cry 4, Assassin's Creed Unity. It's 4. It's 4. It's 4. Okay, it's Far Cry 4, Assassin's Creed Unity, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, and oh my God, I'm saying that because I've been the biggest griper of Call of Duty games ever since since the first one. But I'm excited about Advanced Warfare. And Alien Isolation, man.
Yeah, I think that one is your most anticipated. Is Alien.
It might be, huh?
I think it is. I've heard you talk about that one more than the other ones.
Yeah, because I'm a big Alien fan. And no offense to Gearbox, of course they do a wonderful job with the Borderlands franchise, but my God, they didn't just drop the ball. They just threw the ball out the window. Didn't care who they and wanted to hit a little kid. They just aimed at a child out the window and threw the ball out the window and busted the kid's face when they dropped that freaking Colonial Marines game. Oh God, it's horrible.
They butchered the Alien franchise.
Terrible. They did, man, and that game was so atrocious. But I love Ridley Scott and what he did with the Alien series. I'm a big Sigourney Weaver fan. Love the series. And so when I heard that this is starring Ridley's daughter, Amanda, who I think this is a new fiction of the story interactively. I've never heard of her having a daughter. Maybe I have. I just don't remember at the moment. But the idea to play as a spawn of Ripley, a legitimate, offspring of hers, in a survival horror, it excites me. It is, because when you look at what Creative Assembly is doing with some of the trailers they revealed, they revealed this sort of sophisticated way in which you're going to be interacting with the alien. I shouldn't say interacting with the alien, but ways in which you're trying to survive to avoid his grasp. There's a video that we received today. I didn't even publish this video, but it was a video we got from Sega today, and it's like a 30-second quick video. You are Amanda, and you have this bomb in your hand. And the one thing that's great about the game is there's a lot of makeshift things that you'll have to put together, almost like with The Last of Us, where Joe had to put together like makeshift bombs and make them effective. Well, in this, it's a little bit more sophisticated, advanced, because it's a futuristic sci-fi game. And so in this particular sequence, Amanda throws this bomb and it explodes, and the alien's there. It doesn't affect the alien, and so you try to run to the left to hit this corridor, and the alien tries to get to you, but because he is a little bit too far, he breaks the distance quickly by wrapping you with his tail, and you fall. What made the sequence significant was the fact that when you fall, it's in first person, so you're seeing the experience from the first person, and you're falling, and then when you look up, you see your legs, and the alien is on you, and you're squirming, and then it goes off. I'm like, oh, Sega, you're so shrewd about it. It's so, it just, I was like, wow, this is fascinating. So I'm excited about it. I hope it delivers. And in fact, as bad as Colonial Marines was, Gearbox, yeah, I'm holding no punches. As horrible as that game was, Alien Isolation doesn't have to be groundbreaking. It just needs to be entertaining, fun, and deliver. So I'm excited about Alien Isolation, but it's not our most anticipated, because
what?
It's not. I'm gonna tell you, because watch this. I'm gonna define that by this. If I can, I have games like Lord of the Fallen on my list. As far as this list here in front of me, Evil Within, Drive
That's actually
Club,
my top 2.
Yeah, Dragon's Age Inquisition. There's a lot of great games coming out. If I could only have one game for the rest of the year, I'll just be honest and say I can't answer that question. Well, can I answer it?
What? You have to answer it.
Okay, if I can only have one.
How about that? We'll make it easy on you. 2.
Okay, if I can have 2, Far Cry 4, Assassin's Creed. Okay, if I can have 2, Far Cry 4. Because I want a shooter, and I want that Call of Duty.
Yeah. I know what you mean. You gotta have that first-person shooter in there.
Right.
So we'll just make Call of Duty default then. And
Okay.
You can pick one more.
You're a real cool teacher, man. You that's real cool, man. You definitely.
I know how you feel. Like, I'm just saying, I have to have a first-person shooter in my catalog.
In a stable, right? Sure. Okay. The 2 that I would have to have would be Assassin's Creed Unity, Fallout, and Far Cry 4. Those are the 2 I would have. If Call of Duty, you're giving, Call of Duty is my default. I'm going Far Cry 4, Assassin's Creed, Unity. Now, to help you out, Josh, let me give you the list of games so that you can pick from these, even though you probably know. Grand Theft Auto 5. Oh, you already know? Okay, so I want more of the. What's your default, And what are your two?
I think my default is going to be Call of Duty.
Sure.
I'm hoping that multiplayer is good. The multiplayer to me looks fun. It looks like something different.
Awesome.
I'm really hoping that I enjoy it and that can be like my first-person shooter for the foreseeable future.
Sure.
So that's a default. I'm gonna have a first-person shooter, but my two after that is definitely going to be Far Cry 4 and see Assassin's Creed. You know how I feel about Assassin's Creed. I'm a big AC fan, but they're notorious for being underwhelming games too. Ever since Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood, they've been just kind of underwhelming. But I still played them all, and I still enjoyed them to a certain extent, but they haven't been as good as
the Revelation is like,
well, I like the Revelations to an extent, but it still wasn't as good as 2. Those guys over there are masters at marketing too. They really can sell Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah, they can.
But it would be Far Cry 4 and Lords of the Fallen. If I could get my hands on Lords of the Fallen, then it would be Dragon Age.
Are you kidding me? Really? So you would take Lords of the Fallen over Shadow of Mordor?
So are we talking in the holiday, or are we talking? Because Shadow of Mordor comes out like next week.
Shadow is September 30th.
Yeah, that's like now. That comes out here in a couple days.
2 weeks. 2 weeks. Yeah. So. Okay. Well, yeah. It hasn't come out yet.
Well, then if that's I wasn't counting that one because that one was in this month. But if that's the case, I'm way too much of a Lord of the Rings nerd not to get Mordor. It will be Shadow of Mordor and Far Cry 4.
Because and of course, and if you are big on Lord of the Fallen, because you talk about that game quite a bit. When we discuss it or when something comes out about it, because the game is really, the developers are playing it very close to the chest, it seems. There's not a lot of content out about it. You see a couple of gameplay videos out every once in a while, and it sort of kind of has a Bloodborne type of gameplay experience. It's not this fast.
Yeah, they said they borrowed a lot from Dark Souls, but they just didn't want it to be as punishing of a game as Dark Souls is.
Thank God. You're referring to Lords of the Fallen?
Yeah. Lords of the Fallen. They said they admitted they were heavily inspired by Dark Souls. That's why you see so many Dark Souls similarities there, but they give it a little more of a arcadey feel to it. It's hard. It's gonna be a hard game, but at the same time, it's not gonna make you break your controller like Dark Souls will sometimes. Like for instance, when you fight a boss, you will get a checkpoint right before you fight the boss. Where in Dark Souls, you don't. You just gotta fight your way back to the boss. So yeah,
Fun,
and
but
9 times out of 10, you're gonna die on the way back to the boss.
You're gonna die. I'm about to die. So
they're trying to alleviate that stress there, and they want you to enjoy it. And it's a beautiful game too. It looks gorgeous.
Lords of the Fallen, huh?
Okay. That one's been on my radar for a while now.
Yeah. So no, please. What did we say?
I was saying, obviously, Far Cry 4. Far Cry 3. Yeah. Far Cry 3 was so brilliant, and now I can go into the Himalayas. Oh, yeah. So
looks amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's quite amazing, man. So I was gonna bore those watching, when we put this up on the site with talking about console sales. We're not gonna even go there. We're not gonna go there. So we know what's going on that front. Next week we'll have a good show for you. We'll talk about some games we'll be playing. We'll definitely be playing some. Let me see. What are we playing next week? Well, we're playing more Destiny. We're playing that. I actually have been spending a lot of time in the universe of Killzone Shadowfall. For those of you who love the Killzone franchise, I've jumped back on. The clan system has been enhanced. Shouts out to the guys over at Guerrilla Games. The co-op mode now has 2-player co-op, 4-player co-op, and I love the update that they've given to the multiplayer. Your what do they call your challenges? They are now on the HUD as you're playing, and then
it gives you a target.
When you acquire it, you feel like you're playing I shouldn't say feel like you're playing Call of Duty, but that instant gratification of challenge completed.
Yeah, you hear it pops across the screen in big, bold, colorful letters. Challenge completed.
Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah, that's always nice.
Yeah, so I've been on there, and I've been baptizing, a lot of my enemies, headshots.
I was actually playing a lot of Warframe before Destiny came out, but I think
Warframe,
yeah, I think I'm probably gonna lay off Warframe a little bit until the new update comes out.
Okay.
Because we're supposed to be getting a new update soon, which probably is gonna be next week sometime.
Yeah.
But I'm probably about to jump into Metro Redux.
Metro Redux.
Yeah, I haven't had time to play it yet.
Yeah, I've been on that Metro 2033, and I'm going to say, please jump into it. I highly recommend it. You know, one of the things that I was talking about with the game, because you asked me, because I played Metro 2033 on the PS3 and Xbox 360, in fact. I couldn't complete the game because I thought the game was bad. I just couldn't. Now the story was like, wow, the story had me. It was the only thing that kept me going. But I had to put the controller down. I didn't even write a review for it. You know, that's not good. That was assigned to someone else, not me. I just couldn't do it. Metro Last Light, awesome game. Wrote a review for that. Had a great time with it.
That's on my backlog as well.
You will love that.
You will love
that. You know, now I do play games that I don't have a good time with, and I'll write a review for it. It happens, but this was just 2033 was just bad. 2033 Redux. Wow, it's like it's a different game.
They even enhanced the gameplay with that one. So they
yes, the way the weapons sound, the way
work to it,
feel, the sound. It's just it's
I really enjoyed Metro Last Light back on the PS3. I never got to play 2033, so I'm excited, to have a new experience to get in there and
you're gonna love
that one. Yeah,
you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. And I actually had that. Yeah, no, but do what?
Yeah. I'm probably going to pick up Counter Spy and, God, I can't believe this game is escaping me right now. It's the game I've been telling you I've wanted for forever on PSN. Oh, Lord have mercy. What's
it an indie?
It's an indie. It's, God. It's the game where it's the game where you're playing as a knight and you're running through like this,
you're talking about, yes, we just put the review up on this game.
Oh my God! I can't believe I can't remember the name of this. But the castle is procedurally generated, so you're never getting the same experience as somebody else.
Yeah, I got it right here. It's coming out.
I can't believe I can't think of the name of this game, but I've been wanting to play it for a while.
Rogue Legacy.
Yes, Rogue Legacy. I'm probably gonna pick that up because I've been wanting to play that forever.
What do we give that? Let me check the review score on this. I think it was pretty high.
It's a pretty tough game. It's hard. It's
brutal. Sam. What's Sam's last name? Sam's one of my last name. Sam McBee. He wrote the review for that for us, and he gave it a 9. He loved it.
Yeah, all the review scores that I saw for were pretty high. They were all around that 8-9 area. So it's.
He said that his experience with it was like he couldn't put it down. He played it on the Vita, even though it's also on the PS4 as well. And it's on the PS3. He said that it had a lot of different genres about it. He said it reminded him of Meat Boy, Metroid, a lot of different games that he loved.
Yeah.
But it was just packaged in one, cohesive, experience, and he was just blown away by it. I'm like, it's that good, Sam? You gotta try it. I'm like,
Speaking of that, have you decided to dabble in that Minecraft PS4 edition?
We have it, of course.
Yeah, I know your son's playing it, but are you gonna get into it?
It's not my thing. Now, it's my thing when my son is around. I'm so into it because he lights up, man.
That's how the same way I am, man. I watch my son play it and to see what he's creating and how he enjoys it. I personally couldn't play it at all, but watch.
Right, it's not my deal. And one of the things that's incredible about the game is what it does to these young minds, even when they're not playing it. My son will come home from school, okay, and he understands the rules. Our protocol is as soon as you walk in the door, of course. Bathroom, put on your play clothes, get your homework done, son. And of course, Monday through Friday, he can't play video games. He just can't. Just because it's dad's occupation, it doesn't mean that he can have the luxury of playing. We have to have some structure, right? Mm-hmm. So, because he can't play on the weekdays, games at all, his free time, he will spend watching walkthrough YouTube videos for hours if I'm not careful with him. I mean, this kid will sit and just watch a walkthrough, and of course, I monitor them, making sure that those that are the narrative are not using foul language. And so he'll sit and watch it, man. And he has this one in particular I can't figure out who this young man is. European kid, quite articulate, great with the game. And my son sits and watches it. I swear he watches it like he's watching a motion picture.
I'm watching him build stuff.
Yeah, it's just
mine does the same thing.
Does he really? That's amazing, man. Yeah, that's amazing. So, yeah, I watch him, and he'll, we get in the car, we go somewhere, Dad, and he'll just start explaining what he's doing with it. And of course, being that for me, it's like I have to be involved or excited because he's so excited. There's no way we're gonna be like, dude, really again? Oh my God, I'll crush this. I can't do that. So, yeah. I listen to him. I vicariously, my Minecraft experience is vicariously lived through my son. I don't hands-on it. I just watch and like, oh wow, that's great. So speaking of Minecraft, what's your take on? And this is not a show topic at all. I'm just rambling. What's your take on Microsoft acquiring the developers of Minecraft? Good move, desperate move, smart move.
I don't know how to look at it, to be honest, because Minecraft has been around for a very long time. And it's almost like the same thing, same way they handle Gears. They buy a franchise after it's peaked in popularity. It's going to be very difficult for Gears to really get back in there as a premier shooter again after Judgment. It's tough. And Minecraft, the popularity has kind of started to die off a little bit because everybody's played it, everybody's gotten their hands on it. Even the PlayStation guys have gotten their hands on it at one point. They've played it, and I just don't see why they would buy it for $2.5 billion. That seemed like a very, very steep price to me for a game that's kind of in its prime or not. They're not really going to make a Minecraft 2 and it sells 1 billion copies, unless Microsoft wants to keep it multi-platform. Now then, that's a brilliant move if they do that because they're going to make some cash. If they keep it multi-platform, you can play it on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. Now they can really generate some cash flow.
They won't do that. Yes, they can, but they're not.
Well, they said they're going to continue to support the PlayStation version of it.
I think that's and that would actually go into what you're saying. I think the contract that the developers had with Sony was one that, of course, it uses a contract where Microsoft can't now come in and say, okay, you no longer will allow the game to be played on those other systems. That has to just kind of run its course, I believe. However, moving forward, it depends. I think, like you said, it would be smart for them to do that, but at the same time, they will be supporting the competition. I mean, you go to VG charts and you read how many consoles have been sold, 10.5, 5. Whatever. Those numbers are, we don't know, but VG charts have been putting out some pretty interestingly close numbers to the NPD. So we don't know how close the console sales are, but I think Minecraft can maintain its significance if innovatively its sequel can capture audiences like the first one. I think it can. It's just a matter of, is there enough market share for it? Meaning on the Xbox platform. Microsoft will have to put that game out on PC and then put it on their own platform. But the problem now, though, is this. Gamers are now evolving towards next generation hardware. And on the Microsoft front, the next generation hardware is the Xbox One, which is quite trailing the PlayStation 4. And how much of a significance will that game have? Like you just said, it's going to be hard for Gears to become a premier shooter, where I believe that that's only the case because of market share. If Sony would have bought the rights to Gears of War, in spite of what Judgment Day proved, and the game came out by Black Tusk, and was amazing. On the PS4, it would sell like hotcakes.
Well, that's what I mean, though. It has to be amazing in order for it to get back in there. Yeah. And Epic's not doing it anymore. So, and the last one, Epic didn't do. and it was not good at all.
They sure didn't. They sure didn't.
No, Epic didn't do Judgment, and Judgment was the worst one by a mile. It didn't sell well. It didn't review well. The Gears vets weren't very happy with it. It just was not a good game. So that's my concern with Gears. And this Minecraft thing, Microsoft needs to handle this very carefully, because this could blow up in their face like that Tomb Raider incident did, where here's another situation of Microsoft taking a game away from gamers. It could be looked at that way as well. So I think they got to handle this one with some care.
Yeah.
Because we know the next Minecraft, if they do a Minecraft 2, which I'm pretty sure they are, with them buying it for this much money, PlayStation's not getting it. You know, Nintendo's not getting it. And if PC doesn't get it, it's going to be even worse. You know, it's like, here we go again, Microsoft. You guys are, throwing cash around to deny us games. It's just going to make them look worse.
Well, I agree with that, and I don't agree with that. I agree with, I agree with it, but I don't agree with, I agree with Microsoft if their plan is to keep it exclusive to Microsoft, to their platform. I agree with that. If it's a first-party title, I mean, $2.5 billion, that's going to be on my platform. You know what I mean? And I think the angle is going to be how they're going to leverage that and leverage the competition. Or maybe it's going to be a plan that is not something that's going to be lined up with necessarily the next Xbox, because we don't know if we're going to see another Xbox after the Xbox One. That's still up in the air. But at the same time, I am thinking about that $2.5 billion in the sense of, I'm thinking, okay, you bought Minecraft. I understand it's popular. But do you think people will really go out and buy an Xbox One because Minecraft is only on Xbox One? No. Okay. So that's where my concern lies. There are a lot of games that are out there that are third-party games that maybe, and this is just an idea, if Microsoft was thinking about really making their Microsoft Studios more robust with first-party intellectual properties, $2.5 billion. I think you could have probably brought in maybe 5 brand new exclusives.
They could have
5, without even scratching the surface of the 2.5 billion. Okay, but you could have bought, I would say, maybe 5 hot exclusives from certain studios and own that property as your own, instead of buying Minecraft to make your console more attractive for the long haul. If you're trying to, nurture this system like the Xbox 360, because what games come to mind if they were only on the Xbox One would fare well for Microsoft? Okay, people don't like the move that they made with Tomb Raider. My problem with the Tomb Raider move is they didn't go all out with it. It's a limited, listen, if you're gonna go for the jugular, don't use a spoon. Okay, don't use a spoon. Cut it with a sharp blade. Tomb Raider should not be coming to the PS4, but it is. Because there are so many PS4 users are not going to go out and buy an Xbox One to buy Tomb Raider. They're going to wait. If they want it. My point is real quick, with that $2.5 billion, there are franchises that they could have bought and had on their platform only. I mean, my God. Okay, if you throw a little bit of money over at 2K. I don't know if this could have happened, but what if the next Red Dead Redemption was only on Xbox One?
That's a console seller.
Okay, the next Red Dead Redemption is only on Xbox One. Okay, that's only on that you have to buy an Xbox One for that. What if a game like Deus Ex, Team Revolution was amazing? What if the next Deus Ex is only on the Xbox One? That people are going to buy the Xbox One for that game. I mean, there's a lot. What if the next Skyrim is only not Skyrim? Excuse me. If the next Oblivion, whatever that's called,
don't even joke like that.
It's only on Xbox One. Listen to me now. If a game like Oblivion, a game like the next Red Dead Redemption, Let's go with. Help me out here, man. Help me out here. Let's go with.
Grand Theft Auto.
Okay. Grand Theft Auto. Just those 3 games alone. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Just those 3 games alone. In fact, what if Grand Theft Auto 5 was only coming to the Xbox One, not the PS4?
Oh my God.
Okay?
That'd have been.
That's
That'd
sexy
been
for
tough.
Microsoft. See, those are I think because Minecraft is a popular game. You can't deny Minecraft. It's disgusting. It's disgusting because it taps into that what I call that Nintendo Wii market. Back in the day, people were buying the game that didn't buy consoles because their parents were buying it for them as kids. Seriously. I mean, I know a lot of adults play it, but a lot of kids play Minecraft. It's a phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to sell consoles, okay, Minecraft is not going to sell your console. It's not.
No.
That's just my opinion. I didn't see the numbers, but I don't think it's going to sell your console. I believe that, Red Dead Redemption, whatever that's called, is going to sell your console. I believe that Grand Theft Auto sells your console. My God.
Oh, absolutely.
It sells your console. A game like you have a good relationship with EA. Okay, you got Titanfall. How about bringing the next Mass Effect only to the Xbox One? I mean, if those type of things happen, then you're going to see a market shift quickly, I believe, because those are games that have to be had. I don't care about the differences in resolution at that point. Okay, I don't care. I just need that gaming fix. Just an opinion. But that's a lot of money, $2.5 billion to spend on
Minecraft.
So hey, but my hat goes off to the developers of Minecraft. Man,
Yeah,
he made off like a bandit. Woo!
Boy, did he?
Yes, he did.
He's a billionaire now.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And I hope he has my my address. You can shoot me alone. In fact, shoot me a grant. Forget that. Shoot me a grant.
No, right?
Yeah, man. But yeah, it's been a good episode, man. For those who watching, thanks for tuning in, checking it out. And for those who love Destiny, I don't mean to hurt your feelings. I don't know about Josh, but no, we don't mean we don't mean to bend your fingers or make you feel like you purchased the wrong game. I gave the game because I think it wholeheartedly deserved it, Nate. Yeah, sure, the game's not perfect, but if you're having fun with it, more power to you. And of course, I'm Shadow Spawn, playing the game on the PlayStation 4. That's my PSN handle. Swagtastic is Josh. I'm saying that right? Josh Swagtastic?
Mr. Swagtastic.
Mr. Swagtastic is Josh's handle on PS4, and that's the platform that we're playing the game on. No offense to Xbox One, but I guess we were indoctrinated by the whole brainwashing of Sony's message that the best place to play Destiny is on PlayStation. I don't know if that's true or not, because I've been just playing on PlayStation 4 so much, but I'm just saying. I don't know if that's the truth or not, but I know I have friends who play on Xbox One. So thanks for tuning in, you guys. Head over to the site, game-insider.com. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at twitter.com. Well, follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/Derek_GI. Let's go back and forth and have fun with it. Also, you can follow our Twitter fan page at twitter.com/GameInsiderMag. And also follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/GameInsiderMagazine. And we are out. Josh, you about to play some Destiny?
No, not right now. I don't know. I was actually thinking about getting on some Killzone a little later.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Killzone, man. Yeah, man. Jump on that zone, huh?
Yeah, I'll probably be on that for a little while tonight. Hop in that TDM. Get my